though.
Well, but Eminem actually had skills that the underground and people would co-sign, whereas Vanilla Ice was super commercial. One thing that you just pointed out, Siks, that I didn't even think about was the fact that at the time there were a lot of white MCs who were kind of in the same vein as him to a degree, and he didn't try. And it's weird, like it's survival of the fittest, a competition or whatever, but he didn't work with none of them. He didn't try to like be like, oh man, I always like Company Flow. Let me do something else. Like he never did nothing with the old cast. I think anybody that was current.
I honestly, not to even cut you off, bro, because I gave that a lot of thought, and I realized that especially like at certain levels in the game, because even earlier in his career, if the focus was going to be on him, the focus was going to be on him. You know what I'm saying? The same thing like the conversation we had about artists who try to get on. When we were talking about Fetty Wap. And Drake, we did have this whole conversation with Drake hopping on that song, and that wasn't even Fetty's song.
It was
that was
So you take into account if
no, it was Fetty's song. It wasn't Drake's song. I thought
it wasn't Fetty.
Song.
Right.
It was Fetty's homie's song, and Fetty was trying to do his homie a solid by getting Drake to do that song with him. But Drake didn't want to do the song with homie. He wanted to do the song with Fetty because he felt like, you know what I'm saying, if we're gonna run this
top tier artists, we're gonna do top tier artists.
So it's the same thing with like with Interscope focusing all their. I mean, Interscope gambled big on Aftermath in the first place, because you think about all the shit that went down prior to Eminem signing. You had Eve, you had Hitman, you had, you know what I'm saying, there's a bunch of different motherfuckers that came and went. And Eve lucked up and got, you know what I'm saying, pivoted. She was still on Interscope, but she pivoted over to Rough Riders.
Right.
Saying it's just one of those things, like, so when you have somebody like Eminem who already had like an underground buzz and he already did a lot of the groundwork, he was like an early example of what this industry is trying to capture now. So it's like, of course it wouldn't make any sense for him to it was hard for him to plug in D12. It was hard for him to plug in Obi Trice. You see what I'm saying? So just think, if he was to like try to collaborate with another white artist, that would have been overflow for what the industry was at that time. He was getting a lot of pushback in the first place.
Yeah, they was already beefing though. Like him and Cage had beef.
Yep. Yes.
It was almost like some Highlander stuff. The only few, you know, so it was like right, you know, so like, bro, somebody got to be at the top. I ain't sharing none of this.
Real shit. That's real shit, bro.
That's absolutely that's how it's going, because it's like, yo, what y'all beefing for when y'all can actually make money together at the time? But you know how crazy that whole situation is? It's because it's the same way they do comedians, black comedians, right? It can only be one of y'all. Dude, it can only be one of y'all every 3 to 5 years.
This is the only industry for the longest time. I'll say hip hop as a culture merging into the music industry created a dynamic where white people have finally found something they weren't really necessarily welcome in up until like the last 15 years.
Yep, it's our house and y'all are only guests in it.
And even with Lord Jamar like raising that case and like making those statements, as true as those statements were, the reason why they fell on deaf ears is because it came off as hate. You know what I'm saying?
But it wasn't supposed to be hate. It was supposed to be trying to tell motherfuckers what this is. Y'all took R&B from us. Y'all took rock and roll from us. So this is our baby, and for as long as we can, we gonna hold on to it. Even though y'all been trying to ruin it for us. Even